the 19th Sunday of Ordinary Time. Last Sunday was Transfiguration Sunday, and we heard about Jesus and his three friends. And he was speaking to them, and it was prayer and response. This Sunday there is the readings of listening and speaking. Recently I was visiting a Catholic retirement home in Saskatoon, Canada, and a woman, older woman, had a t-shirt that said something very interesting. It said, "Every time I open my mouth, my mother speaks," which is quite cute, that our history stays with us, and things we've learned and experienced come out even when we speak, and we say, "That was my mother speaking, that was my father." Well, in the first reading today, Elijah, who is being pursued by his enemies, is in a cave, and he listens to various voices, but then he hears a soft, quiet voice, the presence of God. The gospel today, it's a wonderful story. I'm going to come up with a new term. Thank you for allowing that into the vocabulary. It's called spirituality. And it's where spiritual life and reality come together. One might say that dreams die in the experience of reality. The dreams are good, and dreams are part of our reality, but our hopes and our fears go together. So our hopes for ourselves and for others get rearranged by reality. Those of you who are married, when you were getting married, and I prepare young people for marriage here at the university, they have high hopes and dreams. Relationships, in some ways, alter dreams. I'm not sure dreams die, but our spirits reach reality, reach what's true about us. So we have a story of Jesus sending the apostles out in a boat on water. Water is a biblical term for chaos from Genesis. And they are floating on chaos. Now Peter, who often gets his foot in his mouth, gets a mouthful of water. And we'll see it, and we've listened to it and heard it, that Jesus comes walking on human chaos. Then walks on the water, and they get terrified because they think it's a ghost. They're in a boat, and the boat is being tossed by strong winds. And Jesus says, it's a continuation of last Sunday's conversation between Jesus and the apostles, Peter, James, and John. They're fearful of chaos, disorder, reality. Reality can be frightening. I was praying with what cause us to be afraid? It might be something for each of us to, why do we get afraid? Oh, maybe it's we don't want to fail. We don't want to look bad. We want success. We want our ego dreams to succeed. So Peter gets out of the boat and walks on his own experience of chaos, and Jesus said, come on out, get out of your boat. And Peter again puts his foot in his mouth. If it's you, call me to walk on water. So Jesus said, come ahead, you'll find out what it is to walk on reality. It starts with a dream, but it ends with a mouthful of water. As we saw last week, every time Jesus speaks, it's his Father. Every time Peter speaks, it's Peter getting his foot in his mouth. And so he's descending into his experience of chaos, disorder, failure, fear. And again, as Jesus out of his mouth last week said, do not be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, Peter. And he reaches out and he grabs him, holding him. Peter failed in a way, and his fears are caused by his failure. He's looking bad. So Jesus brings him to shore. Shore is order. Shore is humanity in the Gospels. Take courage, it is I. Take courage, it is also you, Peter. It is also you, humanity, who calls you to face your spirituality, whatever you want to call it. It's where spirit and reality come together, where Jesus says, do not be afraid, I am with you. But stay in your humanity, which is chaotic at times. And I will be with you. And the storm ends and the winds die and they get to shore. And then they say, by how you treat us, you are the Son of God. It is very difficult for us human beings to really let God take care of us. To really surrender our lives. You can't do it. Those of you who are married, you can't give your whole self to the other. And the other can't give him or herself to you. It's hovering. We're keeping each other from sinking into chaos. That's what love is. That's what faith is. And that's what this spirituality is. It's spirit trusting. But we cannot shake human fear. And God, no matter how close we experience God, we are always also close to fear and chaos. And that's the spiritual life. Spiritual life is living with the tension between what I want and what is impossible. I can't do it. I can't trust totally. Trusting just in human level is very difficult. Even loving relationships, very hard to totally trust. So Jesus is always expecting us to experience our truth, experience our reality, to be sinking. And maybe that's when we actually pray out of our deepest truth. So we'd like to be in a boat that has no winds and waves. No. A boat is so close to chaos. Peter is so close to chaos walking on the water that he sinks in it. And Jesus comes and says, I won't let you sink, but I won't let you escape your humanity either. I will meet you there. It's the only place I can meet you is in your reality. My reality. When I open my mouth, my Father speaks, Jesus says. Take courage. Be peaceful. Live with the tensions between dream and reality. So we go to the Eucharist, not to learn, but to learn to live. To be accompanied by God, who is always the one who reaches out for us. So pray with your desire, my desire, to be peaceful at all times, to have the boat of life just sailing so well. One more experience, I was sailing with my brother in northern Wisconsin a couple weeks ago in a little sailboat and having a great time, a little sunfish, 2-person boat. And we were sailing with a very good wind, and we wanted to dock the boat, and we came around this point, and we tipped the whole thing over. We had our life jackets on, no problem. We went into chaos. Are we all right? You all right? Yeah. Of course, we had to push the boat, which had turtled, completely capsized. We had to push it to shore in the chaos of our lake. No one said sailing on the crest of chaos would be a sail in the park. No. Every once in a while we tip over, but it's not the end of our sailing. We come to the Eucharist to receive the Jesus who reaches out for us to receive. And he says, have courage. In the Eucharist I am with you, and I will stay with you, even when you capsize.